From the Denver Broncos Media Center, welcome to Broncos Country Tonight with Ryan Edwards and Benjamin Albright.
Welcome to Broncos Country Tonight. I'm joined in studio by the great Hall of Famer, Ring of Famer, Steve Atwater. Ben Albright off today. How you doing, Steve?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. Have some shoes to fill here. Benjamin Albright. Small shoes, but shoes nonetheless.
I noticed the chair is a little lower, but that's more of an inside baseball conversation.
Yeah, that's because this is where Ben normally has his chair.
Yeah, but it's usually higher. You know, never mind. I won't get into all that. All right, so one of the things I want to talk to you about today is this idea the Broncos are going to have some continuity on the defensive side, expecting to hire Ejiro Evero, who was the defensive backs coach for the LA Rams. They're also going to be bringing in Marcus Dixon, who is the assistant defensive line coach, both from the LA Rams. So there's expectation there with some continuity on the defensive side of the ball. But continuity can be a very good thing, and it also can be, well, there were actually some things that need to be fixed on the defensive side. So let's start with the things that you actually want to bring back, the things that you're excited about with continuity on the defense.
Well, I like that we have a talented squad. I think we could use another just dog defensive lineman. I was pleasantly surprised by how well our linebackers played, considering we had to shuffle quite a few of them throughout the season due to injuries. But I think our linebacker group is actually, probably one of our strengths now, those inside linebackers. I think you may have to address the edge rush position as well. Obviously, with Von Miller not being here, Bradley Chubb has had some injury issues. We're all hoping that he comes back and has a tremendous year and is able to, continue improving and being a dominant force that everyone expected him to be this year. But I think we still need to add, another guy or two there as well at the edge rush position. And then I'm definitely happy with the cornerbacks play, especially Pat Surtain, safety play. Everyone's wondering if Kareem Jackson is going to be back or not. I'm wondering that as well. He had another good year last year, so but that's up to George and the coaches if they're going to decide on him. But Caden Stearns, Jamar Johnson, those guys can play as well.
How about continuity on scheme? Like what do you think that the Broncos as a scheme did well on defense? What did you like about that? I mean, we can look at the red zone production over the last 3 years, been really, really good, really one of the best teams in the league. They were first back-to-back years and third last year. They don't give a lot of passing yards. Last year, they were third in points per game. Those are things that they're the stats that followed. But I'd love to know from your perspective, from the scheme itself, what are you excited about in the continuity of it?
Well, I would say just the guys being able to play together again, having a lot of
like the communication of it.
Absolutely, the communication. Them not having to learn everything totally new. Now, obviously, I believe a majority of the calls will be different now. I like the zone defense that we're able to play. We're able to keep Kansas City kind of in check and them not score a ton of points on us. And really, all the good football teams we played, we showed up and played well, and I'm hoping that will continue with this defense in terms of the style of play calls, the defensive play calls that are called in the various situations. But I know there's still going to be some quite a bit of changes, even though they may run similar defenses. It's still going to be quite a bit different because it depends on who calls what when.
Well, certainly, and you're right, sequencing is a huge deal. But I guess what I come back to is one of the things that Alfred Williams, our good friend, Super Bowl champion with you, talked a little bit about on KOA was he doesn't like the bend, don't break. He is not a fan of that.
That's one thing I was going to say. That's one of the things.
It drives him crazy watching teams string together plays. Now, there are times, again, when it functions really well for the team, but when you need those desperate stops, you're into the game, and, hey, you got the Cleveland game, you think about the Raiders game, a couple games where it's like you needed to stop and you're a bend, don't break, you're just not going to get that.
Yeah, and I know that's quite frustrating for a lot of fans. That was quite frustrating. But I think a lot of that is, you got to get some pressure with your interior defensive linemen and your edge guys. If you can get some pressure with 4, then it makes it easier to get pressure with 5 or even 6 if you have to blitz. It makes it that much easier because you've kind of set them up with the 4. So, they may not be anticipating it, knowing that, hey, they're getting pressure with 4, so they don't need to bring 5 or 6. And when you blitz it just makes it that much more effective. Corners and safety have to cover much less longer than when you don't get pressure. And I think that's a big part of it. It's just,
Well, and with that, the Broncos were 23rd in pressure, 28th in non-blitz pressure.
Right, because we didn't blitz
18th in sacks and 19th in strip sacks. So the Broncos, you're 100% right. They were not getting there.
Yeah, no, they weren't getting there, and I don't think many blitzes were even called. Not even I think we ran a lot of cover 1 type coverages with 5-man rush, but we didn't have many where it was 6-man rush, just all out blitz where the quarterback had to get rid of it quickly. Corners and safeties can squat on routes. That it didn't happen very much, and I believe that's probably one of the reasons why Fangio's defense didn't give up a ton of huge plays. Well, we gave up a few big plays.
A few, but right.
But it wasn't a ton of them. No.
The whole point was to keep everything kind of in front of you, and that's where the bend don't break kind of comes in.
Yeah,
it's like we're just going to allow them.
That's philosophy, though.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to send all our blitzes a lot. And I remember when we played, man, we'd be on the island sometimes, but we knew that the pressure was going to get home, and we felt confident that if you run a go route, all right, I'm ready to run with you, but more than likely you're going to have to run something quick. And we could kind of sit on routes knowing when we send pressure, they're going to get home. Our guys up front are going to get there.
All right, so considering that these guys are coming from the Rams organization who just won the Super Bowl, look, you're not going to have Aaron Donald, you're not going to have Jalen Ramsey, but there's a hope and expectation that they can bring some of that, of what they did out there with the LA Rams, to the Denver Broncos. So what would you like to see based on just watching the Super Bowl, seeing how that team performed over the course of the year? On the defensive side of the ball, they have a lot of playmakers, but they also have a really solid, good scheme that they've been building for several years, and they've built continuity on that. Even with Raheem Morris there, he's still using some of the same principles from Brandon Staley. So what do you want to see brought from the Rams over here to the Broncos?
Well, first off is, just they got to get in and teach the guys the defense, in the calls so everyone knows what they're doing and they can do it at a full speed level. And then, hey, you got to light a fire up under some people. I think that we have really, I think we have great players on this team. I don't think they all played up there to their potential, and we got to get the most out of the guys that we have, and I think everyone will be happier, because that's going to be more victories. The guys feel better about themselves. But I would say that more than anything else is just, maximizing what you're getting out of the guys, getting their respect so they go out and play as hard as they can for you. Unfortunately, I don't know. Sometimes I saw guys, not necessarily going 110%, and for me, that drives me nuts. And you got to have, coaches that it drives them nuts. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable to not be going full speed to the ball until the whistle's blown.
One of the things, and this is the last thing with you here, one of the things that I was talking about on Broncos Country Tonight, the radio show, was the complementary nature of football, especially on the offensive side of the ball. We saw it with the Rams, right? If the Rams defense gives up that long touchdown to T. Higgins, there's an expectation and a belief, hey, the Rams offense, they're going to go out there, they're going to get us back in this thing. And then that really hasn't been consistently here in Denver.
Yeah.
And so there's an understanding there, like, hey, this isn't to bag on anybody specific for the Broncos and the quarterback position and what it's been. It's just an understanding of what you're talking about of going 110% on defense. Well, there has to be a belief in the whole team that they got your back. Hey, if we give up a big play, guess what? Our offense is going to go right back out there, and they're going to put us right back in position to win this game.
Oh, yeah, that's 110% correct. Both sides of the ball have to do their jobs. And, I don't know that our defense was truly, truly confident that our offense could go out there and score points, and that may have affected them, at least it looking like it wasn't 110% effort all the time on the field. And I definitely believe that when you have offense, defense, special teams all clicking, that, there's more of a tendency to have everyone just giving it everything that they have versus if one side of the ball or one of the three phases doesn't think one or two of the other phases can't get the job done, the belief just isn't there. And, it may just be a subconscious thing where you're not giving it all that you can give, which, it's still unacceptable, but that may be a reason.
All right. Steve, thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Edwards.
Steve Atwater, Hall of Famer, Ring of Famer, always crushing it. Appreciate it. For Benjamin Albright, who's not here, but he'll be back next week. I'm Ryan Edwards. Thanks for watching Broncos Country Tonight.